just reduce the volume just a little bit more. And get... Yep, my phone's going off. And get the website ready. I can also just... Tiny head, yes. There we go. First, let me get rid of the text. Window capture. There we go. Get rid of this. There we go. Oh god, it's so far down now. Let me check if everybody... is here. My man, Bradster, are you here? Meta? Oh, this stream is almost non-delayed, is it? Wait, hold on. 1, 2, almost 2 seconds of no delay. That is nice. Yeah, that's nice. Ah, yeah. Okay. I'm not going on Facebook on here to text her. Let me just do that here instead. Also, I should probably tell some other people. Okay, so Meta saw that my stream is up. So that's good. Then I have to tell. Excuse me, I had to eat real quick. Because my order was very delayed. It was supposed to arrive like an hour from now. Like it was supposed to arrive an hour now, and it arrived like 20 minutes ago. I still have some of the food left, but I'm going to have that for later tonight. So I'm a bit late. My mom needed to talk. Hey, no, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I'm just, before we're starting, I'm just trying to not throw up. Because I ate real quickly. Also, I'm making sure that all the people that are meant to be here are here. Hopefully. I mean, okay, Bradley can join whenever he has a chance. Hey, so I'm not feeling very good today, so I'm going to sleep now. Alright, that's one person not coming today, that's fine, that's fine. Take care of yourself and rest well. Let me tell Lexi. Oh no, she has D&D, never mind. Well, actually, I'm not sure if she has D&D now because of the whole situation of if those two guys are there or not. So I'm not sure if she has D&D. SAP stream is on. In case D&D ain't happening tonight. There we go. All right. So I would say, without further much waiting, I'm wondering if I should just text him on TikTok, because that's where he's more alright, streaming now. Now that's where he's more active, and I would like to have him here for the very first one. We're gonna finish the 700 today. It's doing a subathon. Gotcha. Enjoy. Okay, so that's also another person that can't join. Okay. Alright, okay. Seriously, without any further ado, let's begin. Blood? So that's SCP-790 is blood? You can only say that by having the most dramatic way. It's like, is that blood? 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 So every time if the name blood shows up in this whole text, I will only say it that way. Euclid. SCP-790 is to be kept under observation at all times and must be contained within an airtight cell, ideally with an airlock in place of a door. Also, given SCP-790's curiosity, the furniture within the cell must be of materials that will not absorb liquid. The mattress, being a sole exception to this rule, is to be replaced once a week and incinerated as quickly as possible to avoid containment breaches. I can already kind of guess where this is going. Just from like how I joked about it, I can guess that it might have to do with blood showing up on the mattresses, and that's literally like, is that blood? Like in all the crime and thriller stuff. So I imagine that's what it is, but I'm not sure if that's all there is to it. There's probably more. My glasses are dirty as hell. Every time I read SCPs, I realize how dirty my glasses are. Personnel interacting with SCP-790 should not attempt to make any sort of physical contact with its host's flesh or any of the discharged fluid unless wearing gloves or, in the case of emergencies, a full hazmat suit. SCP-790 needs to be fed only once a month, apparently to vary its diet from the bone and tissue already absorbed from -1. Personnel that have become familiar with its needs estimate that 200 kilograms of raw meat is sufficient nourishment. Beef appears to be favored. However, since the ingestion process begins with data expunged... Oh, excuse me. I completely didn't do it in character. However, since the ingestion process begins with data expunged, -1's mouth data expunged until data expunged, and then data expunged. Personnel are advised to leave the room before SCP-790 begins eating. In the event that it does become aggressive, SCP-790 is best subdued and calmed by heat dispensed at a temperature at 37 degrees Celsius by the cell's air conditioning system. Descriptor. SCP-790 is the animated blood of a human identified as Mr. Blank Blank, hereafter known as -1. At present, it emanates almost constantly from -1 pores, tear ducts, salivary glands, and several deep wounds and scars that cover at least 70% of his body. These wounds are believed to be produced by SCP-790 itself over the course of several months. Thorough examination of the -1 body has revealed that SCP-790 systematically attacks the cells of his tissues and skeletal system, converting them into his fresh blood cells, hence the constant flow of blood from his injuries. The infection is currently believed to be in its latter stages, as both the circulatory system and the digestive system have been consumed, along with a significant portion of the skeleton. Despite being positively identified as a human blood, SCP-790's activities constantly suggest otherwise. Not only is it sapient, but exposure to air does not result in clotting and drying. So it just keeps on flowing and looks like it's endless. Because, you know, regular humans don't bleed forever. This guy just does. But it doesn't explain why you cannot touch him just yet, but that we'll probably find out. Also, during several encounters with personnel, it has demonstrated intelligence and crude sentience. Numerous staff report being touched and inspected by minuscule tendrils emerging from the blood that often pulls around the host's feet. However, SCP-790 does not appear interested in infecting other subjects, at least not at this time. Nonetheless, it will react violently should it be handled carelessly or harshly. Attacks on the host are responded to with lethal force. Meanwhile, -1 appears to interpret his affliction as divine providence. Okay. So he is aware that he's bleeding out all the time, but he's just like, I'm chosen one. God has picked me. Just bleeding out like all over the place, non-stop, claiming to have been contacted by supernatural forces that insist he care for and nurture SCP-790, or the Blessed One, as he calls it, until the day he dies. Well, from what it looks like, my man, it doesn't look like you're gonna die anytime soon. Where this behavior can be attributed to the disintegration of -1's brain, an unrelated psychological breakdown or some form of communication between the two is impossible to determine. Addendum 1. Dr. Blank speculates that SCP-790 is actually waiting until its present host is completely consumed before seeking out another in the form of one of the staff. As SCP-790 still merits research, it is recommended that another host be found among the D-Class personnel in the event that the present one dies. I see, so the blood can, like the whole situation can be transferred to another person. I don't know how you arrange, like, does every person that becomes a host think that they've been touched by a supernatural deity, basically? Or does like the host that touches his first time realize like, this is kind of fucked, but I have no choice. Addendum 2, blank blank 09. -1's left eyeball fell out this morning. What a sentence. A brief dissection showed that not only had the optic nerve been completely dissolved, but the eye itself was empty except for blood. We tried to take a sample, but that damn stuff animated too quickly, escaping the labs and rejoining the SCP-790's main body before we could stop it. I honestly don't think -1's going to live much longer. The only thing holding him together is his own blood, and that's because it's trying to eat him. Okay. I see now. I see how this works. Okay. Ugh. Blood? But yeah, no, that is messed up. So it's an animated blood that joins you and then just eats you from the inside out. Slowly but surely digesting ya. Damn. Hot diggity damn. Blood? Hide it. Thank you. I'm still not sure if he saw my message. Oh well. Can't do anything for it. At least I have you, Meta. Oh, that was a that was a plane. I don't know why that sounded like someone's stomach rumbling. I was like, who in the fuck is around the corner? Okay, next one, here we go. Water orb. Oh, this is a very short one. Oh, there's one that we already read, so I'm just gonna quickly get this ready. Which number was it? 257. There we go. Professor Williams Wordsworth Collection of Curiosities. So, water orb. Safe. Containment area is to have a sealed drainage system, and any materials or liquids collected are to be submitted for testing and review. Emergency drainage systems are to be maintained at all times and must possess no fewer than 8 filtration screens. SCP-791 is to be held in a wide weave steel mesh bag to allow for ease of location in a draining event and to pre-contain any biological events. Removal from the bag may only be done under testing conditions. Description: SCP-791 appears to be a mass of liquid water held in a spherical shape by an unknown and undetectable force. Okay, so we had blood, and now we have water. And you know what I'm gonna say now? Blood runs thicker than water, dude. I don't like how all this wind sounds is making my apartment sound spooky now. Now's not the time. Now is not the time. Hey, Beth just liked my tweet about the stream. That's nice. Oh, that's nice. SB791. Yeah, SB791. I said it right. No, why in my mind I thought I said it wrong. Wait, hold on. Biological tissues can pass through SB791 as they would through normal water, and reports indicate the water to be similar to normal seawater, but with a lower salt content. It is impossible to splash SB791, however, water may be drawn out via the hands or mouth. SB791 reacts to non-biological materials such as stone or metal as if it were a sphere of solid concrete. SCP-791 may be lifted, rolled, or otherwise manipulated in this way. By acquiring samples with non-biological materials is extremely difficult due to the extreme hardness and weight of SCP-791. Also, it actually does. It feels weird to know that a ball of water weighs a lot. I mean, it's of course in the moment it's in a bucket, it adds weight to it, but I don't know why the idea that just a orb of water is heavy. Although it would make sense, right? If it was held by something, by a force, and then you try to lift it up by having a actual surface underneath it, like a metal surface, and then you try to lift it up, that's still volume of water that you're lifting. So I guess if it was like this, I'd be like, yeah, it must be easy. But if it was like a 1 meter radius diameter water orb, then I'm like, yeah, I can see why that thing is heavy. Also, it's apparently extremely hard. SB791 does not reduce in dimensions when water is drawn from it. This is true even when withdrawing very high volumes of water. But it's not drinkable water. It has salt in it. So I was about to suggest that you have an unlimited amount of water that you can drink, but it has salt in it, so you can't really drink this. I mean, you can. It's just ain't good. Ain't gonna be good for you. Ain't gonna taste good either. The water of SCP-791 is sterile and contains no microbes of any kind. It is almost identical to Earth water, but has a slightly elevated amount of hydrogen. SCP-791 will randomly undergo draining events, where massive amounts of water will pour from SCP-791. SCP-791 retains its properties during these events, and draining can last between several hours to 4 months. Now, I wonder how fast the draining is. Is it like a drops? Is it like a sink? Or is it like a waterfall? Because imagine this orb of water just explodes. There's just water everywhere. But the orb is still the same size and just... And you're still like, ah, shit, this whole room's gonna be filled. Items will sometimes exit SCP-791. Excuse me, what? It is unknown where these items originate from, though most appear to be oceanic in origin. Items resembling seaweed, fish, blank, plankton, dildo expunged. Note possible awareness. Is this more like a portal to the ocean than an orb of water? I'm thinking, what is the game? I'm pretty sure there is a game that has an orb, and you have to jump into it to visit a world. And maybe I'm just bullshitting or Mandela affecting something to my head, but I'm pretty sure that. And if it's not that, I know there's something with an orb where you can jump into it, and then just whoop. The blank-like entities have occurred multiple times and have data expunged unknown. Communication via blank and similar alternate realities observed by SCP-2684, SCP-3374, or indirectly through SCP-257. And SCP-257 was the one we just saw, and it's an abandoned zoo park where terrestrial and extraterrestrial animals regularly manifest inside its cages. I forgot about this completely. Yeah, these entities were previously owned by Williams Woodworth, an anomalous explorer. I completely forgot about this SCP. All the other ones, whenever I see the name or I read like the simple explanation, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this one. That one doesn't ring a bell at all. I'm pretty sure I don't remember that whatsoever. Okay, so we had 2 SCPs that have had to do with liquids. One more problematic than the other one. Actually, they're both really problematic if you think about it. Like, again, it depends on how fast it spurts water out of itself. If it's like drips, then yeah, okay, then you know, just put a bucket underneath it, empty out in a couple hours, and then get another bucket. But if it's like pure, just like actual like torpedo shots of of a water fountain coming out of it, then yeah, then the whole foundation might get flooded, and you don't want that because who knows how many breaches that will cause. Okay, the next one, the body farm. I'm not sure how I feel about that title. Something in my head. Here's what I'm thinking right now, and I should do this more often. I should do more often, like what I think the SCP will be, just from the title alone. I'm thinking farmland, typical like just Western style farmland, you know. You have good old Bobby with his hat and his hoe, just chilling there. There's a whole field, and he sees like the little something like growing out. It's like nicely, you know, it's ripe just from the size of it. You're like, okay, time to pull it out. He pulls it out. It's a whole fucking leg. It's a whole leg, just like, oh yeah, nicely grown. And then he pulls another one, torso. Pulls another one, hand. Pulls another one, the left butt cheek. Something like that. I don't know. That's what I imagine from the title alone. I might be wrong though. Oh, it's a decently rated one. Euclid. SCP-792 is surrounded by an electric fence topped with razor wire measuring 4 meters high. The only entrance to SCP-792 is a gate on the south side, which is to be guarded by 3 armed security personnel at all times. Additional security personnel are posted every 1.5 kilometers around the perimeter. SCP-792 must be inspected weekly for new instances of -1, except between September 2nd and October 31st. No other personnel are to be admitted to the area. Oh, so on this is Halloween, there's no need to check it? I feel like Halloween would be the most important day to check it. If there is a farm that grows body parts, I feel like Halloween is the one day that it should be checked on. But oh well. Description: SCP-792 is a wooded area measuring 4 square kilometers near the town of blank blank. SCP-792 contains at any given time between 37 and 4,500 human corpses. What? Hereby designated -1. That's a lot of corpses. That's a lot of corpses. Gotta admit, that's a couple. I would say that I would even say that's 4,500 too many. Just a couple too many, I would say. Is the brat still here? Is she watching? I don't know. Instances of -1 vary greatly in race, age, etc., with slight trends existing towards Caucasian and Hispanic descent and heightened age. All specimens are nude. Great. Instances emerge from the ground at apparently random intervals at a rate of roughly 10 per day in a process that takes between 9 and 14 days. -1 specimens will emerge headfirst in a prone position. Oh god. Imagine you're on this fucking farm field and then like you just see it's like empty, right? And then like 5 days pass and you come by again and suddenly there's like 3,000 heads just out of the ground, just. The idea of just like multiple kilometers of just heads out of the ground. No. After emergence, the decomposition will proceed as expected in SCP-792's environment. Fully emerged instances of -1 show no unusual properties. If removed from the ground prior to complete formation, the portions of -1 that were underground will be composed of a large mass of root-like structures. Analysis of these structures has shown them to be identical in composition to human muscle tissue. Once a year, between the dates of September 2nd and October 31st, 90 to 130 humanoid figures, hereby referred to as -2, will appear in and climb out of the pond in the center of the area. Instances of -2 are clothed in white level A hazmat suit with tinted visors which prevent the face from being visible. Are they here are they the farmers? Are they just like, another day at the farm, eh, boys? Instances are sapient and capable of communication in English. After exiting the pond, -2 will retrieve fully formed instances of -1. Yeah, they are. I was just kidding, and they actually are. And place them in the pond where they will disappear. This process takes 2 days to complete. An average of 13% of fully grown instances of -1 are not taken through the pond. Instead, instances of -2 will construct a large bonfire in the center of SCP-792 and burn them. The purpose of this is currently unknown. If questioned, instances of -2 are generally cooperative, but will refuse to leave the area and show anxiety to begin working again. And there's a level 3 clearance or higher is required to view the following document. What else do we have here? Doctor, tell me! Okay, we have an interview. Addendum 9A, interview 4. Interviewed, one of the -2s, senior researcher L. Blank. On 12/1997, a single instance of -2 emerged from a single one dude. It's like, shit. Gotta do this all by myself. Okay. From SCP-792 and requested to speak with the person in charge of the containment of SCP-792. After some deliberation, senior researcher L. Blank chose to conduct an interview. Okay, wait, so he's not here to harvest, he's here to talk? Okay. Why do you want to talk to me? Your research is disrupting our work. And your work is? I'm actually gonna give him the vain voice. Farming. Yes, we understand that already, but what's the point? Why do you do it? Yeah, it is our duty. Can you elaborate? Those headed for ISAT require guides. We judge who is worthy and who is not. The worthy are taken to ISAT. Those who aren't, we destroy. And by conducting our research, we're preventing you from doing this? Yes. The crop cannot be disturbed. What will happen if we continue our research? Death is not a right. It is a gift that we can't deny. Are you threatening us? No. You are threatening those who would otherwise be welcomed into ISAT. Your research is preventing them from resting. Could you not just take him regardless? I would like to leave now. At this point, -2 attempted to get up and leave the interviewing area, but was restrained by guards and put in a holding cell. 3 hours later, he disappeared from the cell. Current whereabouts are unknown. End log. Closing statement. Senior researcher L. Blank has requested the suspension of all testing involving SCP-792. Request denied by Site Director R. Blank. So he actually wanted to stop the researching, the testing, because having to deal with people in hazmat suits that can just appear and disappear at will. Well, maybe not at will, but do it anyway. Might not be the best ones to have as your opponent. It might, hear me out here, backfire. Okay, so I wasn't fully wrong with like somebody like a farmer and body parts, but I will say I did not expect full on corpses to just appear and just grow out of it, and then guys in hazmat suits just like, oh, this is a wonderful day to be a farmer. You know, I didn't expect that. Also, I didn't expect them to suddenly have a it's like hey, if you disturb this, you're fucking up some ritual stuff, man. You make it a bit tough. You make it a bit tough for us. The ghost sickness. What is this? What is this? Oh, this is new. Zone of Denial. I never heard that before. But here, Euclid. Zone of Denial, 13.4 meters. SCP-793 is to be marked with stakes marking the perimeter of the Zone of Denial, a base distance of 13.4 meters from each side of the medicinal center is to be marked as the Zone of Denial, with a second perimeter extending the Zone of Denial out an extra 50 meters to be regarded as a restricted zone. The Twilight Zone, restricted zone. Signs placed on perimeter of the Zone of Denial must state no unauthorized entrance in the following languages: English, French, Swahili, Lubakasai, Kikongo, and Luganda. When testing, access to be restricted to Class Ds, no other Foundation personnel to be allowed entrance. The future installation of security cameras around the hospital is a possibility. And here we have a SCP-793 in the blood smear. Okay, description. SCP-793 is described as a hyper-reproductive paranormal variation of human Congo trypanosim. Oh my god, Jesus, that means try that again. So, it's described as a hyper-reproductive paranormal variation of human Congo trypanosomiasis, a parasitic protozoa, also known as the African sleeping sickness. You could have just called it that. Inhabiting the abandoned medicinal center located in Diller Expunged, built by missionaries in 18 blank. SCP-793 first known appearance was documented in 19 blank. The hospital was subsequently relinquished from use years after due to exponential growth of SCP-793. But it was never demolished due to the superstition the populous and prominent blank tribes held. In 19 blank, the hospital was secured by the Foundation. SCP-793 in its passive form does not appear to exist unless a suitable human host enters the Zone of Denial, ZOD, which is currently estimated to be 13.4 meters from any point around the hospital. When a human enters the Zone of Denial, here we go, what happens? Does he get denied? Denied! Sit down! I'm sorry, that was a Will Smith quote. Even though it's not really a special quote now, is it? The organisms will appear spontaneously inside the human circulatory system. Unlike a normal form of trypanosomiasis, which has limited rate of reproduction, the reproductive rate of SCP-793 increases proportionally to the subject distance into the COD. Example, when a subject is at the edge of the COD, SCP-793 will produce at 5% the speed of human Congo trypanosomiasis. But once inside the hospital, where reproductive capability is at constant, SCP-793 cells reproduce at 400% the speed of their cousin. Wow, they're trying to speedrun this disease. They're like, oh, well, poof. That must suck. Because like if you have to go to the hospital, you want to like get medicine, get healed, talk to the doctor. Next thing you know, you have this disease inside you that's working at 400 times the speed than how it's supposed to. Symptoms appear to be dissimilar to those of normal congenital trypanosomiasis, with a notable increase in hysteria and swelling of the lymph nodes. The opposite occurs when a subject leaves the COD. The reproductive rate decreases and parasites will spontaneously disappear with no visible signs of cell death. Somatic cells whose deaths can be attributed to SB793 will appear as if origination suddenly occurs, not as one of the result of general somatic mitosis. The symptoms will fade to those of early stages, from the neurological phases going to the hemolymphatic stage, etc. Until there are no signs of the protist existing when a human victim exits the COD. And here we have the medicinal center, the current residence of SCP-793. One final note about possible human death as a result of SCP-793's action: the reversal effect reverse victim death completely. Wait, what? So if somebody dies in there, but then they go out, they come alive again? That must be weird. Imagine you go in there with your friend, and your friend just perishes, and then you drag the body out, like, oh, I gotta give you a funeral, bro, and then suddenly he's like, back alive again, and you're like, whoa, you were dead for like half an hour, like you had no heartbeat, like how? Once the deceased are rescued from the maximum reproductive zone, somatic cells appear immediately, and any remaining instance of SCP-793 disappear. Upon the so-called undeath, individuals often recall extreme pain due to the reconstruction of their body, mostly regarded as something along the lines of thousands of knives piercing their body, and have no recollection of ever entering the zone of the now or any knowledge of SCP-793. SCP-793's reversal effects only regard any damage it causes a human. Bodies whose death are attributed to other causes, such as a normal human Congo trypanosomiasis, will not be affected. SCP-793 does not seem to appear on anything that is not a living human body entering the zone of denial. Scratch that out. So it now says SCP-793 does not appear on anything that is not living human tissue. Appearance of SCP-793 does occur on partial entrance of a human to the zone of denial, and is limited to the fraction of the human that is the zone of denial. Items brought out of the hospital have no unique effect attached to them. Addendum XOJ1 regarding site demolition of SCP-793 via blank blank, probably like a drone strike, a rocket, as suggested by Dr. William Hunt on and Chong Meng, PhD, daytime data expunged. The blank blank medicinal center, otherwise known as the residence of the infamous SCP-793 specimen, was subject to the possibility of sterilization. Proposals generally suggested a wide variety of explosive materials, typically blank-based compounds. Controversy over the destruction of Euclid-class specimens has always been a major topic of discussion within the Foundation. The general consensus about the termination of SCP-793 is one of concern. Most Foundation personnel suggest the continued containment of SCP-793 despite continued controversy of the topic. The details for the defense of continued containment procedures are as follows. A. SCP-793 really poses no real threat. No permanent death has occurred from the actions of the ghost trypanosomiasis. B. The hospital's architectural structure appears to be continually sturdy and shows no signs of serious decay, suggesting structural invulnerability. We don't think this should be attested, at least not yet. C. As reference to the consensus, we have no knowledge of what would happen attempted destruction of the hospital. D. Angering of the close-by tribes in the area. True, yeah, the tribes who are the ones that care about this thing more. We also would like to discuss possible reclassification of SCP-793 from Euclid to safe. Yeah, I mean, as long as somebody enters the hospital or is in the zone of denial, you're good. So all you gotta do is like prevent strangers from walking in it. Addendum OR 51 regarding zone of denial fluctuation. Reported by Mark Fuller via email, edited for better comprehension. And here's a footnote that says, as Mark Fuller had limited grasp of English, his messages were edited to be more understandable. It seems that a few of the tests into the zone of denial have found that the boundary is far further away than what it was used to be. Not know what to do. What do? I don't know what to do about this. Okay. So it says like seems a few of the tests into zone of denial. Okay, gotcha. Data temporarily expunged until investigation. Help, I not know what to do. The zone of denial keeps changing. That I wonder if it changes as in like in size or if it changes as in location. Another data expunged. Please help. The zone of denial is growing bigger and bigger and bigger now. Okay, it actually is growing. It's like it's expanding. It's expanding. Yeah, I don't think it's safe if it expands. So that definitely answers the question if they can change the classification of it from you could do safe. No, you can't. Not if the thing that makes it dangerous grows. Other similar messages from Mark Fu and other personnel stationed in the area has brought intrigued investigation by Foundation assets in North America. Confirmation of zone of denial distance fluctuation is currently pending. I'm gonna get rid of these bottles. They've been making a lot of noise. Ow. Beef foot. Okay. Okay, that was the ghost sickness. Down with the sickness. Get up, you down with the sickness. Ooh, ah, 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 ah. Oh, oh. Dun, 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 dun. Go on. Okay, he has still not seen my message, but that doesn't mean that he's not here. Meta, before we go on, how are you doing? How has your day been? Chill? Nice. Very calm? Nice, nice. Alright. The desert shipwreck. Wait, wait, hold on. How do you spell deserted? Like that, right? Okay. I just realized like how why is English like that? Desert, and deserted. Written all the same way, but means different things. Of course, deserted and desert can be in the same category because it's like the deserted and desert are usually both empty. But still, like why? Why? Okay, desert shipwreck. Euclid. The area in a 10-kilometer radius surrounding SCP-794 has been designated as a no-fly zone, and all unauthorized personnel attempting to enter the area to be detained for questioning. Unauthorized aircraft attempting to enter the airspace around SCP-794 are to be signaled off immediately, and any that fail to follow instructions are to be intercepted and detained at containment site 794 Alpha. Personnel may only approach within the 1,400 meters red zone of SCP-794 with prior permission from at least 2 Level 4 personnel, and may stay within the area for no longer than 30 minutes at a time. Personnel experiencing any nausea or exhibiting any strange or psychotic behavior must be removed immediately and quarantined pending psychological and physical evaluation. Description: SCP-794-1 is the derelict remains of an ocean-going vessel located at approximately plus blank degrees blank point blank plus blank degrees blank point blank near redacted in the Sahara Desert. Y'all got that, people? Y'all now know what this thing is? According to, I mean, that's the whole point, is that we're not supposed to know. We're illegally looking at some data files. According to the markings in Cyrillic, the vessel is the Redacted, built in blank in the city of Redacted in 19 blank. So far, not a lot of information about this thing. It's just it's in the desert. This is inconsistent with available records, as no vessel by this name was ever constructed. The vessel is in an advanced state of disrepair, consistent to exposure to the elements for a period of at least blank years. And to date, it is not known how SCP-794-1 came to rest in its current location, nearly blank kilometer from any body of water. Well, it just did the Pirates of Caribbean 3 thing and just decided, like, Earth is also water, and just Dash 2 is an enormous mass of living nervous tissue integrated into the cargo hold of Dash 1. Ugh. Ew. So this bro is alive. Or used to be, maybe. Who knows? Currently estimated at approximately 167 kilograms. While experimentation has shown significant neutral activity, it is currently unknown how Dash 2 functions or how it obtains sustenance. Living human subjects that approach within 1,400 meters of SCP-794 report feeling an increasing compulsion to approach and enter the vessel, peaking at approximately 60 minutes of cumulative exposure. At this point, affected subjects will attempt to enter the vessel by any means possible and must be terminated in order to prevent them from approaching SCP-794. Once within the vessel, affected subjects will enter the ship's cargo hold, whereupon they will immediately collapse and cease all life signs. And Dash 2 is in the cargo hold. Excuse me. SCP-794 was discovered on blank during a routine satellite surveillance pass. The vessel was located shortly thereafter by Foundation agents, and current containment protocols were established following the loss of blank members of the initial survey team. Addendum 1. Analysis of recovered bodies. Following limited experimentation performed via the use of remotely piloted robotic vehicles, the bodies of blank in brackets blank individuals have been recovered from Dash 1. Of these, blank were members of the Foundation initial survey team, blank were blank army personnel reported missing, in 19 blank appear to be unidentified civilian explorers, and the rest are too far decomposed to identify. Autopsy of the intact bodies has shown a complete lack of neural tissue, including the brain, spinal cord, and all muscular and sensory nerves. During this time, Dash 2 has also grown by an estimated 3.4%. So it looks like the more people die, and the bigger this tissue mass becomes. Further investigation is ongoing but difficult due to the inherent danger of SCP-794 and our inability to approach it directly. D-class assets have been secured in order to derive a method by which SCP-794 compulsion effects may be mitigated or suppressed. Dr. Blank Blank. Okay. So we reached the halfway point. We got. Whoa, we're halfway there. Whoa, living on a prayer. Oh, we have. Look at that. We have 2 cats in a row. Madam, maybe one of those cats is yours. Reality bending cat. She's a queen. yeah, she can be a queen, but she can still maybe bend reality. We don't know. And this one is just added stuff or okay, see. So this is like okay, yeah, no need. She probably could. I always love how with dogs I always talk about, like, we always like talk, me and my friends would always talk about, like, oh, this dog would save me in a heartbeat and do all this and that to make sure I'm safe. But with cats, it's always like the most like, oh yeah, if she could hold a knife and kill me in my sleep, she would. It's with cats that we always given like the most like ridiculous either criminal or superpower type stuff. While with dogs, we're just like, oh, they just do adorable. They wouldn't do anything bad. I remember with like my cat and my German Shepherd, we always joked around how like my cat would try to like kill me in my sleep, but my dog is like just at the door and be like, no, he will live for another day. As long as I'm around. Cats are evil but the best, exactly. You know what cats are? They are the physical manifestation of like I trust you but don't get comfortable. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, yeah, I trust you to give me a pat on the head or on the belly, but don't get comfortable to think that you can do that forever. That's what cats are. I trust you, but watch yourself. If you push it. Oh boy. Okay, reality bending cat Euclid. SCP-795 is to be contained in a 75 meters by 5 meters area divided and secured with clear plexiglass walls containing locked doors as follows. A. One wall door at 5 meters from the far end of the room. SCP-795 lives in the 5 times 5 meter space created. B. One wall door at 35 meters. This defines the outer limits of the area that SCP-795 can affect while contained in Area A. One wall door at 65 meters. Area C may be used safely for observation while SCP-795 is contained in Area A, but must be cleared if an interaction is taking place in Area B. D. A standard containment door at 75 meters. This creates a 10 times 5 meter area where SCP-795 can be safely observed while released into the area. Oh no, I fucked up. I fucked up like EYE. EYE, that's you. You can't be serious. EWE is you, Aaron. EYE. Oh, my bad. Sorry, that just popped in my head in the moment I said my eye. Oh my god. Probably one of my favorite Game Grumps moments. Aaron not being able to spell I. I misheard you, and like you did not mishear me. You repeated what I said. You spelled it wrong! A 3-letter word! Oh my god. Okay, 2 level 1 guards are to be posted in Area C. They should move to Area D. If SCP-795 is in Area B for an experiment, due to the injury potential, non-D-class personnel are not permitted to interact directly with SCP-795. An automated food and water dispenser and litter changer have been installed in Area A to limit unnecessary contact with SCP-795. If necessary, SCP-795 may be tranquilized from a distance and then safely handled. The idea of like a cat just like in this giant room and it's doing something that makes a person go like, ah! Shooting a tranquilizer gun at them, just like, that will calm it down. It's like maybe it just decided like, I don't know, stretch a little bit differently, and the guy's like, he's bending reality. I mean, if it bends reality, you know, I would imagine a lot of people would just be paranoid. It's already paranoid enough to have 4 doors, dude. They have 4 doors for this cat. So I can imagine somebody with a tranquilizer gun like, don't you fucking dare. Don't you fucking dare. Additional cats exposed to SCP-795 must be contained in an additional manner for a period of 3 hours. Description. Here we go now. SCP-795 is a large 8.2 kilograms black long-haired domestic cat, Fetus catus, if of indeterminate breed, exhibiting 2 major anomalous abilities. SCP-795 can change the physical form of any living creature it is able to observe within a range of 30 meters. SCP-795 can make telepathic suggestions to humans within the above range of effect. Feed me, otherwise you shall become the fish. Okay, no problem. I'll get you some food. What do you like? Oh, it's been a while since I had some dry food. You know, I really miss the crunch. Yeah, yes sir, no problem. Do it in 5 minutes, but the cat food store is just 10 minutes away from you. Well, you better be fast. Although in the moment like you leave, its eyesight, the effect would not last anymore, so it doesn't matter. Like in the moment he would walk out, it'd be like, wait a minute. How dare this cat treat me like this? Walks back in, the cat's like, it's like, well, where's my food? And then the guy's like, shit. Why did I do this? Cat transforms into a fish, eats it. And now I got something in my in my other excuse me, in my other you. SCP-795 can transfer its abilities to other cats within its range of effects. But this effect on the other cat is temporary and dissipates within 3 hours of separation from SCP-795. That's why they're like, oh, we gotta keep it locked up. In a different way, but in a similar, oh god damn it, similar manner. SCP-795 does not otherwise exhibit any unusual physical or mental abilities. Typically, it will transform anything it considers friendly into another cat in order to play with it. Anything considered unfriendly or dangerous is transformed into a prey animal and then killed and eaten. Of course, I did say it. I was like, feed me. If you don't like, and see, unfriendly. If you don't feed me, I transform you into a fish. Man, fuck you. Okay. Use of SCP-795 to terminate recalcitrant D-class personnel approved. Oh my god. So they decide if D-class, who is being an absolute dick and doesn't want to cooperate with them, they're like, oh yeah? How about you and I, we just go and meet old Winston over there. Yo, Winston, meet D-Class 7567. So, what the fuck's this cat, man? This cat's ugly. Thank you, Winston. I hope he tastes good. Telepathic suggestions have consisted of desires typical of cats: more better food. What did I say? Softer bedding, toys, and to be let out of its enclosure. Staff may purchase appropriate items for SCP-795 at their own expense. Dr. Blank. SCP-795's transformations revert after a period of 1 hour after removal from SCP-795's presence. SCP-795 has proven unable to transform itself, inanimate objects, or objects that it cannot see. So it doesn't look at itself and it's like, I wish I was bigger. Addendum: SCP-795 was originally contained on blank blank 2000 blank at the blank Animal Control Center in blank blank. According to records found there, SCP-795 is named Junior. I like Winston more. Well, okay. Was approximately 2 years old upon containment and had been surrounded by a relative of a deceased prior owner. Note from Dr. Blank: we have no idea how she got Junior into the cat carrier and down to blank. Oh yeah, true. Like, wouldn't you? The cat would probably suggest you to open up the cage, otherwise you become its prey. And then, yeah, okay, interesting. How did they manage to do that? Maybe a sleeping pill. Make it all like. Just asleep, just deadly like. And you're like, no, cannot open the cage. And you're like, oh god, this hurts. Why was my cat always cry when we go somewhere? A number of unusual conditions were found at the Animal Control Center. All dogs had been euthanized. Of course. Cats were roaming the facility freely. Of course. The center was blank over budget for cat care and supplies. Oh, did it like make the humans suggest to grab a whole bunch of cat food? Oh boy. 3 center staff were missing and presumed victims of SCP-795. The cats were contained by use of tranquilizing gas. Initially, all the cats in the center exhibiting the abilities of SCP-795, but lost their enormous powers within 3 hours of being contained and separated. This one is a fun one. I wish we could make this into a script. I would love to make this into a script, but this is like late. This is like a second season type stuff. Not first season. First season is gonna be like easier stuff. Second season we can allow ourselves to be a bit more daring. Now we have another cat, a river cat. So, Meta, after reading Reality Bending Cat, do you think your cat telepathically speaks to you and makes you do things for its own will? And do you feel if you don't do it, there are major consequences? No response. Okay, river cat. Holy diver! What if that's it? This cat is just a cat that likes to dive and listen to Dio. Holy diver! The midnight sea. Euclid, as SCP-796 affects only one individual at at any one time. Information concerning it need only be suppressed at a local level. Clinical and psychiatric records are to be screened for possible mentions of SCP-796 effects. The current affected individual is to be identified and located as soon as possible. Should an individual be confirmed to be under the effect of SCP-796, they are to be coerced into containment. The use of force, lethal or otherwise, is not permitted against... Something happened. Not permitted against individuals suspected of being affected by SCP-796. Once the current affected individual is located, they are to be housed in a modified humanoid containment chamber lined with memory foam and equipped with microphones with a sensitivity of at least minus 35 decibel to confirm the continued presence of SCP-796. In addition, the subject must be inspected daily for any new wounds. A lack of new wounds may indicate a breach of containment. Wounds inflicted on the affected subject must be disinfected and treated promptly. Similarly, damage to the containment chamber as a result of SCP-796 must be repaired as soon as possible. Essential personnel are not to approach 100 meters of the containment chamber without prior authorization, and contact with the affected subject is to be limited only to non-essential and D-class personnel. In addition, at least one D-class personnel is to reside in the 100-meter exclusion area at all times. Meta, are you back? I assume there was like a there was like an 1 hour in commercial, and that's why you couldn't answer. Okay. I wanted to ask you. I already asked you, but I will ask you again. After reading Reality Bending Cat, do you think that your cat has the telepathic tendencies to make you do what it wants, and if you don't follow it, that there'll be dire consequences? Because if the answer is yes, then I'm just gonna give you a heads up. You maybe have an SCP as a pet. I'm just saying, you just maybe have it. He would for sure be able to. Okay. He'd be clever like that.
You'll give me food. Otherwise.
Okay. The death of the current affected individuals is to be considered a possible containment breach. As such, their safety must be ensured at all times. In the case of the death, the residing D-class personnel will be inspected for signs of SCP-796 and subsequently contained as necessary. We call her Queen for a reason. She's just the Queen from Alice in Wonderland. Off with your head! It's like, shit. Why didn't we get her the Felix cat food? Update. As of the 1st, 2005, SCP-796 is currently contained by Subject 17. As Subject 17 has not expired despite being affected by SCP-796 for more than 6 months, he is to be considered as a more permanent solution to containing SCP-796. Subject 17 has so far requested the following: a selection of fiction books, preferably of the romance genre, approved; a portable music player, denied; phone call, denied; cat food, approval pending. Basically, yes. Okay. Update. As of 23rd, 2006, the above containment procedure are now obsolete. Subject 17 is to be located and captured as soon as possible. See Addendum 3. What the fuck happened to Subject 17? Did he escape? Did he escape, you guys? Didn't you not pay attention when he was doing stuff? Holy dive! Okay, here we go. Description. SCP-796 is a condition whereby an infected individual begins to perceive a large feline entity in the peripheral vision. The exact appearance of said entity has so far not been ascertained, while the majority of subjects have described it as unusually large and dark colored. Separate accounts of its shape, exact size, and overall body structure have been inconsistent. I would hate that in real life. If at the corner of my eye I constantly think I see a cat that is like ginormous, I would hate that. I would like, but it's always like moving whenever I move my head because it's just at the edge of my eye, right? So I can't even. It doesn't matter how far I turn. It's just always there. After subjects will often experience a strong sense of paranoia and dread, largely assumed to be as a result of the entity's constant presence. However, no hostility has ever been reported on the part of the entity. Instead, SCP-796 will result in the manifestation of the following minor and largely harmless physical phenomena. Light scratches sporadically appearing on objects in the vicinity of the affected subject. Occasionally, the subject will appear to have been scratched by an unseen source. These wounds have so far been merely superficial. A faint, deep purring sound emanating from the immediate area around the affected subject. This effect is only detectable via specialized recording equipment, though most affected subjects claim it to be clearly audible. The appearance of paw prints in nearby soft materials, consistent with that of an unusually large cougar. Yeah, see, like, imagine that. You think a fucking cougar is inside your house the whole time. You're like, oh shit. But every time you turn around, it's just gone. Vanished. Disappeared. Swallowed by the earth itself. Notably, visual hallucinations experienced by affected subjects often correspond with manifestation of SCP-796 physical effects. Oh, I wonder why it's called River Cat, though. So far, there's nothing really related to a river. All affected individuals will experience an event that will place them in acute mortal danger within a month of first experiencing SCP-796 effects. It is unknown if SCP-796 is the cause of such events. They found near a river. If it is aware and It is unknown if SCP-796 is the cause of such events or if it is aware of and attracted to the two individuals who will experience such events. Affected individuals claims that SCP-796 causes bad luck are to be disregarded, as research has shown that affected individuals do not experience statistically increased rate of misfortune or accidents. All individuals affected by SCP-796 will nonetheless expire within 1 month. Upon the death of the current subject, SCP-796 will transfer to an individual in the immediate vicinity. SCP-796 was first documented in the town of Bay St. Louis, Mississippi. Maybe you're right, Meta. Maybe you're right. After Marina Izquierdo, a 46-year-old homeless woman, was admitted to the local hospital for severe abdominal pain. Later diagnosis is due to accidental pesticide consumption. Izquierdo appeared highly paranoid and agitated throughout her stay and died 2 days later after doctors were unable to save her. An autopsy revealed numerous superficial scratches on her throat and abdominal area. Dr. Hannah Mariam, who attended to Izquierdo, later reported visual and auditory hallucinations consistent with SCP-796. She died 2 weeks later when her car crashed into another vehicle en route to her home. Multiple fresh scratches from an unidentified source were discovered on the steering wheels of both vehicles. At least 27 other individuals are suspected to have been affected by SCP-796 prior to the Foundation intervention and containment on 9th 2001. Addendum 1. On the 27th 1st, 2004, SCP-blank was accidentally activated while being prepared for transfer to another site. The resultant explosion severely damaged the humanoid containment wing of Site 32 and caused 31 fatalities, one of which was Subject 16. It is unknown as to whom SCP-796 transferred next to due to the chaos of the mass containment breach that ensued. Subject 17 was only identified a year later, though a routine search of psychological counseling records and was subsequently brought into Foundation custody, where he claimed to have been under the effects of SCP-796 for 6 months. Which is interesting because you're supposed to die after a month. So either he's lying or he's somehow surviving. This is really good. This is a lemon iced tea. Not sure if you can see this. Yeah. It's from the restaurant I ordered. And the restaurant is Japanese. This is really delicious. I would say it's better than the Lipton lemon tea. Then 2 excerpt from interview conducted with subject 17 on the 12th, 2005 by Dr. Nico Ray. Side 32, humanoid containment psychologist. The interview was conducted as part of the routine psychological examination of human and humanoid subjects. Superfluous dialogue has been removed for brevity. So, can you elaborate a little more on how and when you first noticed your condition? It's hard to pin down the time. I wasn't in the best of states last year. My roommates moved out in April. I had to quit my job in May, and then there was that accident outside the grocery store. God, that was bad. It was just awful. And after that, I just, got hard for me to go out anymore, so I didn't. Then I started noticing things, seeing things. At first I thought it was the shadows. My apartment doesn't get much light, you see. But turns out I was right. I would look at the dark places and I would look aware and they would be watching me. I catch glimpses, ears and a tail, but that was it. What was your reaction to all of this? I don't really think I cared. Nothing really mattered at that point. Not even the scratches started appearing and the growling stopped being just in my head. When people stop messaging you and the world forgets you exist, it's hard to see any of this as really real, So on a bright sunny day in July, I closed the windows and turned off the television and I popped 5 strips of worth of Ambien. It was hard enough with those claws getting in the way, but I managed, and I poured a glass of water and I took it all in and I laid down and closed my eyes, and well, it didn't make any sound, but I could still feel it watching me. It saw my eyes roll back in the sockets and my throat clenched shut, and it didn't do a thing. I think that's when I realized something. What was it? That no matter what happened, it was going to be there, always there, in the shadows, in my ears, in my skin, always watching. Even when I had nothing left, even when I was on my way out, how they say cats can see through the other side? I think that thing just wanted to see me through. And for some reason, I thought that was the best thing that anyone could have done for me at this point of my life. To see me through. Jacob, are you aware that everyone else with your condition has so far died? Yes. Why do you think this is so? Subject 17 glances over to Dr. Ray's shoulder and smiles. I don't know. I guess it just kinda likes me. What if that was it about SCP-796? It just try to find a perfect owner. Just the perfect partner. Be like, I need somebody who can take me and treat me the way I want to be treated. I don't know how he wants to be treated, but apparently he likes him. Addendum 3. Now we get to know if he fucking booked it. Addendum 3. On the 23rd, 2006, at 7:36 hour, the surveillance feed for SCP-796 containment chamber was disabled. Deployed security forces discovered that the chamber was manually opened from the outside using a key card belonging to Dr. Nico Ray, which had been reported as missing 2 days earlier. Neither Subject 17 nor SCP-796 was found inside the containment chamber. Traces of claw marks were found on the keycard access panel. In addition, the following note was found folded underneath Subject 17's pillow. Did the fucking cat bail him out? The cat saw that Subject 17 gets to be like locked up this whole time. He's like, no, Not, not Papa. Not my father. Not my master. No. This ain't it. This ain't allowed around here. We don't take kindly those kind of actions around here. See, thing is, you keep calling it that, a condition, an affliction, as if you can't bear to call it a disease, but it's not. Diseases hurt, they get under your skin and in your head and claw out your mind until you beg for it to end. This doesn't hurt, not really. It scratches from time to time, sure, but that's it. Sometimes you give me excuses and talk about keeping me here and finding a cure for all of this. But you and I know that that's not going to happen. It's not. And I don't mind at all, because I've already gotten better. I'm sorry I have to leave. 4 blank walls and a locked door isn't much different from what I've been used to, but there's been so much I want to do, and a cat can't stay in here forever. It's not really the indoors type. Hey dude, fucking baller. That's baller. That is absolutely... That is so... I think that was the first time where an SCP has stopped affecting the world around it in some way or another, like either a human or anything else, and it has stopped, just doing anything to anybody else, right? And it's the first time that happened, and then somebody told the Foundation, like, hey, it's really not as bad as you guys make it seem. Like, just leave us alone. I'll make sure that it stays with me, and there's absolutely nothing for you to worry about. Which of course there is. There is a lot of things to worry about. Like, what if he dies? Anyway, what if he dies of old age? Then what? Then SCP-796 will find a new host again. Oh, not really a host, but victim. So, like, I get it where he's coming from. Like, he's being locked up, and they're trying to be like, oh, we can find a cure. But he's the first one that this cat SCP has made a connection with and a bond with. And instead of just letting him out and letting him just live life while he takes care of the supernatural cat along his side, they kept locking him up and just and we know the Foundation by now. When it comes to like answering questions of civilians, they always talk around it. Maybe it dies with him. I don't think it will. I don't think it will die with him. I don't think. I understand what you mean. Like it creates such a connection with subject 17 that it will decide to like pass away once the subject passes away. But I don't think that's the case. I think once subject 17 dies out of old age, this SCP will just jump to the next person, and then the whole cycle repeats until he finds another one that somehow magically survives longer than a month. Maybe I think that's what it will be, but I might be wrong. I could be wrong. Maybe it does die with him. Maybe it does like think like, yeah, no, you the person I want to be with, and then just perishes. Curious poltergeist. Okay. Euclid. SCP-797 is to be contained in a room 6 meters in length and 6 meters in width. Walls, including floor and ceiling, must be at least 10 centimeters thick. Room is to be airtight with a filtering system to clean the air of any bacteria. Every 7 days, a human cadaver of any age, condition, gender, or race is to be deposited in SCP-797's containment. After a period of 24 hours, the cadaver is to be removed. Under no circumstances are any personnel to interact with SCP-797. Should SCP-797 enter a rage state, SCP-1 is to be eliminated via incineration and a new cadaver wheeled in, prompting a reset of schedule. SCP-797 is an oval-shaped object attracted to either dying or freshly deceased humans. SCP-797 is almost always seen with -1, a collection of human flesh from various cadavers. When accompanied by -1, subject will attempt to interact with any living human entering its containment. Testing on SCP-797 reveals that it does not react to non-human bodies, although it is known to mistake organs from other animals to be human, provided the organ is of comparable size and shape as that of a human. The subject appears to have an understanding of human anatomy and will attempt to interact with any personnel that enter its containment with varying degrees of success. Upon failure, SCP-797 will enter a rage state and begin to dismantle -1. Launching pieces of flesh at those whom it had attempted to interact with beforehand at a velocity record of at least 70 meters per second. Pretty fast, damn. That is pretty fast. Contact with the pieces causes no harm beyond normal consequences of being exposed to rotting human flesh. The impact has been known to cause broken bones, cracked ribs, torn organs, and internal hemorrhaging. Yeah, I was about to say, like, when it says, like, contact with the pieces cause no harm, I was like, really? You think, like, you feel like having a piece of flesh being thrown at you at a speed of 70 meters per second will definitely cause some harm. But I guess I know what it means to say, like, touching the flesh doesn't do anything. It's not like your face will rot away or something like that. It's just human flesh. But the damage physically it does by it being thrown at you. Yeah, 70 meters per second. Basically, it would run a track, a whole track, like a track and field track, in 4 seconds, and I would say 4.4 seconds, around that. I would say it's pretty fast. It's pretty fucking fast. When without a body, SCP-797 will attempt to escape its containment. Due to its small size, about 5 centimeters in diameter, it will attempt to hide under the clothes of any living human that enters. It also will attempt to hide in shadows, apparently trying to trick personnel into thinking that the subject has escaped when surrounded by -1. Oh wait, when surrounded by -1, SCP-797 shows no desire to escape, instead focusing its attention to attempt interaction with any living human that enters its enclosure. No contact beyond those in the containment procedures is to be attempted without permission from personnel ranked level 4 or higher. -1 is controlled by subject using a currently unknown method. The puppet is built around SCP-797 with the subject at its center. When separated from its controller, -1 loses all cohesiveness. Body parts must be periodically replaced due to natural rot. Tests on samples collected from the subject reveal no significant abnormalities. Rarely, the subject will attempt to use SCP-797-1 to talk, producing a redacted sound accompanied by release of bacteria in the air. If this situation occurs, no fewer than three agents are to perform procedure A. SCP-797 was found at a local hospital in Nunavut, Canada. When found, subject was collecting various body parts from patients around the hospital, and -1 consisted of a torso including 30 centimeters of an elderly woman suffering from pancreatic cancer, both lungs from an adult ringed seal, 3 kidneys, ringed seal, human donor organ, and a skeletal upper torso from a 13-year-old male dying of redacted. Hospital evacuated and all involved citizens were provided with Class B amnesty. Can you imagine seeing that floating or wandering around in the hospital hallways? This mishmash of like human flesh and bones just coming towards you. Ugh. Addendum: Dr. K. Blank M. Blank's note requesting permission to close contact with SCP-797 over redacted. Months. I believe through detailed analysis of the subject's action we can discern more about whether or not it's sapient and its level of intelligence and begin communication instead of simply entrapping. Okay. Curious poltergeist, that is a wow one. Almost done. We got 2 more to read. Cortex rat. There's a lot of animals in this one, isn't there? 2 cats, a rat. Yeah, this is like, it's like 30, almost 30% of like 33.3% of the SCPs we read today were animal related. So the Cortex rat. Safe. SCP-798. Hey. No, never mind. It's not as nice. It's not as nice as 789. But 798 is like pretty close. It's currently housed in an 80 centimeters by 60 centimeter cage on a wooden table. No personnel should approach SCP-798 alone. SCP-798's cage is to be kept secure within a low-level cell. Description: SCP-798 resembles a healthy adult gray beige rat. However, it has been seen to engage in behaviors usually associated with corvids or higher mammals, such as self-awareness, problem-solving, and the limited use of tools, suggesting heightened intelligence. SCP-798 dietary requirements, sleep patterns, and metabolism are normal for Rattus novicus, and blood tests confirm that it belongs to this species. I don't know why I imagined Remy from Ratatouille. The moment it said like it can use tools, I immediately imagined it cooking. Not even like hesitation, no hesitation in my thought. Like immediately, like what if it cooks? Oh my god. Oh my god. Please tell me it cooks. Please tell me one of these addendums says like, oh, it's a really good cook for some reason. SCP-798 possesses the ability to influence other animals from a distance and even control them if allowed to establish physical contact. The subject abilities are proven to be far less effective on cetaceans, corvids, and primates. Subject appears incapable of establishing a physical link with such creatures. Recent tests imply that SCP-798 appears to be completely incapable of influencing members of its own species. Crossed out. Recent tests imply that SCP-798 demonstrates different behaviors when interacting with members of its own species. So, see, I mean, listen, Remy control a human being with physical after doing some physical contact. Well, actually, keeping physical contact and pulling on the hair and shit. So, so far you're not making me not imagine Remy right now. Addendum: X-rays, CR scans, and Deluxe bunch indicate that SCP-798 is a normal rat, and no heightened electrical, chemical, or neurological activity has ever been observed in either SCP-798 or any of its targets. Log 1. Request access to incident report blank for further information. Log 2. Agent blank and blank. Procedure: routine observation of SCP-798. Details: SCP-798 preened itself, rearranged its bedding, and began eating. Partway through its meal, it stopped and began staring intently at Agent Blank. Agent Blank slowly got up and reached towards the cage, announcing its intent to let the little guy run around a bit. Agent Blank stopped him by grabbing his arm and addressing him directly. The rat's just like. And the agent's like, oh, God, he's looking at me with those eyes again. How am I supposed to do my work when he clearly wants to get out, dude? Dude, let me grab it out. Come on. Addendum 1. Addendum -2.1. Agent Blank's experience implied that SCP-798 can assert a psychological effect on those in close proximity to it. Repeats of this experiment indicate that this effect is easily overcome through application of willpower and/or the subject's awareness that they are being manipulated. Mostly, SCP-798's subconscious broadcasts are a request for freedom or more food, although it has proved capable of making researchers feel intensely guilt during procedures such as shock therapy or blood sampling. This one and the reality bending cat should get together. They both just be like, Logan. Oh fuck. I blame Alex for that. I can't think of telepathic demands anymore, or like at least I cannot think of Dr. Xavier normal anymore, because I remember like one time he did that to me, because when I was in high school I photoshopped my eyes in different colors, and I said like, oh, and I was like, which Afro power do you guys want? And one of them was like psychic, and I said like, you can pick one of these things, and you can then like learn how to improve it in your own way. Like it doesn't have to, like, everybody can do something different with, like, for example, like super speed. With super speed, yeah, you can just train your legs just to run fast, but then you can also train your arms to punch fast. So that's something like that. Like you can train in different ways. Kind of like a skill tree, you know, kind of like a skill tree that you make yourself up for the power you gain. And Alex, he picked psychic, and he asked me a question. He was like, he's like, when you say psychic, do you mean like just in general, like I have like supernatural powers, like telekinesis and telekinesis and all that stuff, or do you mean like Xavier type of psychic? And I was about to answer him when suddenly he grabbed my shoulder and just shook it really like quickly. It fucking tickled, and just leaned back really far and just went like, Logan. And ever since then, Dr. Charles has been ruined for me. Fuck you, Alex. But I love it, so I cannot think of it anymore in a different way. So where were we? Log 3. Agent blank and blank, SCP-798, was left alone with a house cat belonging to Agent blank. The cat immediately jumped up onto SCP-798's table and began to nudge the cage off, where it struck the ground, dislodging the holding pin. Once SCP-798 has been released, the cat prostrated itself and allowed SCP-798 to data expand. Oh no. Oh, Okay. Log form. Let's just ignore what we just read there. Dr. Blank and Agent Blank, SCP-798, and 3 canine subjects, D1, D2, D3, were released into a 4 meter by 4 meter, 4 meters squared cell by means of a remote operated lock on their cages. Dogs were previously liberated from laboratory duty at a pharmaceutical corporation. Ages and breed indeterminate, but assumed to be between 4 and 10 years. Details: the dogs immediately moved towards SCP-798 once the door was no longer obstructing their view. D3 was the first to reach the primary test subject and allowed SCP-798 to latch onto the back of its head. In obvious distress, it barked at the other subjects and they responded in kind, showcasing typical territorial behavior that soon escalated into a three-way fight. D3 was victorious, killing D1 and D2 despite being the smallest of the trio and despite receiving severe wounds to the jugular. Afterwards, the surviving dog walked to the cage and lay down. SCP-798 returned to its bed, cleaned itself of blood, and then went to sleep. D3 did not get back up and was found to have suffered a fatal aneurysm. Sorry, Meta. I know how much you love dogs. Just don't have any pets around this fucking rat. Log 5. Researchers Dr. Blank and Agent Blank, SCP-798 and another specimen of Rattus norvegicus R1 were placed in a 80 centimeters by 60 centimeters cage separated by a transparent plastic divider. Details: when the divider was removed, R1 immediately attacked SCP-798. Both researchers reported a sudden feeling of acute discomfort. Quote from Agent Blank: "It was like I was suffocating. It was like having a migraine while something shoves itself down your throat and floods your guts with hot water. Never felt anything like it. On instruction by Dr. Blank and Dr. Blank, Agent Blank reached into the cage, deftly separated the two animals and replaced the divider. SCP-798 suffered various bite wounds, whereas the other rat appeared to have avoided harm. Addendum 5.1. It appears that SCP-798 may be incapable of influencing other rats, instead inspiring a primal murderous rage in them by its mere presence. And Addendum 5.2. In an hour after Procedure -5, the personnel on guard duty reported that R1 began vocalizing a distressed squeal. SCP-798 was standing behind the divider, staring intently at the other rat. R1 began to bleed from the mouth and defecate all over its half of the cage, culminating in a brief but very severe seizure. It was found to have died from a myocardial infarction. This rat is not to mess with. This rat does not mess around. Last one, guys. Last one. Carnivorous blanket. Oh, it's nice that it's gonna be exactly 2 hours long of a read, maybe. But that's nice. Oh, that's nice. Because the last thing I wanted was like the whole like dinner situation, and then it ended up being like a 3-hour stream, and I'm just like, fuck. I'm behind on schedule, and it's longer than I expected. Euclid. Each specimen of SCP-799 is to be kept in a separate biocontainment cell at Biosite 66. 100 grams of dry brine shrimp is to be sprinkled over each object monthly. If this is not available, 500 grams of household dust will suffice. It has been determined that Biosite 66 maintenance staff remove significantly more than the necessary quantity of dust from the D-class dorms monthly. This dust is to be collected in the usual dustpan bags and delivered as necessary. No more than 500 grams per specimen is necessary or advised. Should any throw pillows or similar objects appear, they are to be placed in separate containment immediately, and the presiding researcher notified. The objects are not to be removed from containment except as authorized for testing. Description. Members of SCP-799 vary in size, shape, and superficial appearance, but always retain the appearance of a knit or woven item of bedding made from an unfamiliar but very soft natural fiber, resembling high-quality merino wool blend, but identified as dildo expunged. An individual mass ranges from approximately 0.5 to 6 kilograms and does not change except during ingestion and excretion, so any immediate increase in area comes at the expense of thickness in fabric weight. The blanket retains heat unusually well. Its coloration and markings are highly variable. It tends strongly towards pastel hues and patterns resembling stylized Newtonous animals, particularly when its mass is less than about 2 kilograms. The items are living organisms, most similar in physiology and structure to data expunged. Although alternate hypotheses suggest fungal origins for full notes may be found in document 1A. Although well insulated, they are apparently cold-blooded. Hence, their adaptation for use by intelligent homeotherms. Instances of SCP-799 are usually torpid and incapable of movement, requiring little nutrition. What they do need, they draw from the organic detritus present in household dust. One specimen is believed to have survived for years on end, stored in a damp, ill-maintained attic, living on heat from the house below and detritus from the wood rafters above. Excretion is minimal. Excreta resemble tiny, very dry dildo expunged. If forced to survive for long periods without sufficient nutrition, though SCP-799 is capable of metamorphing into a predatory form, the resultant structural changes are invisible to the casual observer. They consist of modification to the digestive tract and feeding orifices. The latter shift from minute dispersed filter feeding mouths into a single large mouth, lined with dildo expunged. The organism also develops a contractile tissue similar to animal muscle. Once this metamorphosis is complete, the SCP-799 individual waits for a large animal to wrap up in it and become quiescent. Sleep is common. Before opening its mouth, tearing off a few kilograms of biomass and consuming it. The biomass is apparently reduced to thin slurry almost immediately, as even seconds after feeding there is no visible bulge in the blanket. The mouth is completely absorbed 10 minutes after feeding. At this point, no evidence of the blanket's nature is available except by X-ray or by observing the sudden increase in mass. By 40 minutes after feeding, the entire carnivorous digestive system is resorbed and the organism returned to fill the feeding phase. In carnivorous phase, the organism will not feed on inanimate objects or cold-blooded animals. Dr. Blank hypothesizes that its senses are entirely limited to touch and heat, and that it does not recognize cooler objects as organic. SCP-799 reproduces by budding. When an individual mass reaches a certain minimum, very slowly except in case of carnivory, it takes on more quilt-like appearance. Gradually, over the course of several weeks, the quilt squares along one margin, puff up and slow off to become several small dollies or throw pillows. The offspring are clones of the individual, identical to it in every way, and will grow to a similar size and reproductive in turn to given suitable conditions. The first of the Foundation captive SCP-799 population, blank individual at the time of writing, was retrieved on blank blank from blank blank, where had been residing in the home of notorious germaphobe data redacted, after it metamorphed and apparently fed on his infant granddaughter. Oh fuck. Oh shit. A standard biological sweep revealed the blanket's nature and was taken into containment without resistance. It is not known how many instances of SCP-799 exist outside the Foundation containment, as they are very difficult to detect except by genetic testing. Extrapolation of growth rates and reproductive weights from the specimens in containment suggests that a filter-feeding SCP-799 organism reproduces once every 50 to 60 years. Note: any wild blankets should be destroyed upon detection. This species is fascinating, but we have a large population in containment, and the wild ones pose too much risk of public exposure. Further research into possible specimen connection with SCP-1626 is ongoing. Dr. Blank. And that was it. We have reached the end of the 700s. Another 100 milestone that we have done. Here we go. Here is the list of SCPs that I rate the most enjoyed. And again, don't forget, I enjoy all of them, but the one on top I did enjoy a bit more. River Cat, I mean, come on. That's just adorable to have like this giant cougar-sized cat that is physically not there, and you only can see it barely from around the corner of your eye, and it always kills its owner. But then there's this one guy that just managed to survive, and then they just create a bond, and he escapes. It's just nice. It's cool. Also, I believe it's like one of the only SCPs that like breached, and doesn't say that they found it again. So, I mean, it's not the first one, but I'm pretty sure it's one of the first ones, or one of the ones basically. Reality Bending Cat. I think that one was just like hilarious. The fact that I joked around so much about like, oh, it's just the cat just wants to like give me better food or give me food, and I will transform you into a fish, and you will become my food, was just a joke. But that's exactly what the thing does. It literally, if you don't do what it says, in this example, give food, you will become the food. The body farm. I mean, the imagery is so freaky. Like this. Kilometers of just farmland, and after a couple of days pass, just heads all across, of corpses, of children, elderly people, middle-aged people, young adults, women, men, black, Hispanic, Asian, white, Arabian, Middle Eastern, Indian, and so on and so forth. Like it's just crazy that it just like pops up, and then people in hazmat suits just like, whoa, we got some big ones today, boys. Yeah, the imagery behind that is just very freaky. But not as much as the Curious Poltergeist. I mean, the body form is a freaky image, but like the Curious Poltergeist literally just is an amalgamation, a mesh of different rotting flesh and different body parts. It's like the Frankenstein monster, but there's no architecture to it. No blueprint that tells you like, oh, this is where the hand's supposed to be. There is no body that it doesn't try to look like a human being. It's just this ball of flesh. Cortex rat. That rat is a hardcore fucker. Don't mess with it. Just don't mess with it. Blood. That one was a good start. Blood was definitely a good start. Like, it's again, it was one of the ones where I kind of joked about it, but then like half of the stuff I joked about was coming true. It's also like very interesting just to see like how like the person that's affected by it is thinking that he's like this like he's a chosen one or something like that. Like this is just normal. This has to happen. There's a shipwreck. Yeah, I mean the idea of a ship hundreds of kilometers away from the ocean is kind of nuts. And then of course it has like this organism inside the cargo hold that just grows the more people die inside the cargo hold, which only happens if people actually see it from a certain distance. And like 1,400 meters is pretty far to like see a boat and be like, I have to go in there. Carnivorous blanket, yeah. I mean, it is absolutely messed up how it just wraps around an animal and then just takes the whole bite of it, and it gets digested so fast. Not digested, but like chewed or absorbed really quickly. The ghost sickness, yeah, that. I think the coolest part about the ghost sickness for me is the fact that you can make people come alive again by just dragging them back out. But it is scary to know that the radius of its effect is increasing in size. Because who knows how big that can get. And also who knows what is influencing it to getting that big to begin with. And then water orb. Yeah. Big ball of water. That spews water. That you cannot drink because it's ocean water. But not as salty as the ocean, but it's still ocean water. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my Monster Energy out now. I'm gonna do an all-nighter tonight. Just gonna stay up all night playing games. It's been a while since I've done one of those, and I just feel like doing one today. Meta, I doubt you want to stay up for an extra hour and just chat, because it's already midnight, or it's past midnight for you. And tomorrow we're gonna start the 800s of the SCP Foundation entries. I'm excited to reach to start a new line of SCPs, basically a whole new 100 line. Other than that, I would say that I hope you all enjoyed the stream right now. I'm not sure if Bradley ever joined or ever watched. He never gave me a response when I said that I was live, so either he did and he was just busy, or he just didn't, and he will have another chance another day. So yeah, I hope you all have a good morning, afternoon, evening, and remember y'all, the Afro is with you.